The popularity of action-adventure gacha RPG games in recent years is evidently growing since we're getting new entries in the genre every year. The newest entry in the genre is Arknights Enfield. It's made by Hypergryph, and it's set in the same universe as their mobile turn-based RPG tower defense game called Arknights. I would like to thank Hypergryph for providing me with a review copy early, so I can bring this content to you guys. And if you find this video useful, please like it and even subscribe to the channel. Enfield is a full-fledged open-world action RPG gacha that heavily introduces industrialization mechanics to set itself apart from the competition. The game starts with one of those incomprehensible anime sequences where big philosophical questions of life and death are mixed with stunning visual sequences of fighting bigger-than-life creatures. You're left confused, hoping that answers will come soon. You are Endministrator, or Endmin for short, an ideological leader and CEO of an industrialization corporation that lost his or her memory and is facing immediate crisis on Talos 2. Through never-ending cutscenes and tutorials, you'll be guided through various game systems as you discover the backstory and game mechanics of Enfield. Basically, the whole of Chapter 1 is a big tutorial that lasts for dozens of hours. Story and storytelling are always the weakest points of these games. Enfield is thankfully bearable in this department despite the fact that you are playing someone akin to Elon Musk, who is far from being a pleasant human being that deserves looking up to. There's nothing in Enfield combat we haven't seen before in this genre. You'll fight using basic attacks and a special ability, and all of that will lead to combos with one or more of your three teammates while you stagger enemies until you fill your ultimate ability gauge and cast the most powerful abilities to end your enemies. You'll discover synergies between various elemental and status attacks that will grant bigger damage bursts. Min-maxers will surely have a field day trying to create a team and gear setups that will get the most out of their attacks. All of this is set in a rather good-looking world where you'll come across various enemies from Mad Max tribes to endemic life forms. You'll always have plenty to fight. Visually, the game is sharp and sometimes stunning. The industrial theme of the game makes everything a little bit cyberpunky. Everywhere you turn, there will be machinery and shipping containers that put kind of a jarring note on greenery and beautiful skies. All of this is presented with great performance, and you'll be treated with good visuals even on normal computer configurations. Character progression is still based on upgrading your characters with both their levels as well as their weapons and their levels. Another layer of gear has been also added, and it's in the form of armor pieces and kits, so you'll be able to spend even more time getting your favorite team of characters fully geared up. The best characters that will comprise your best team and that will be able to face the biggest threats will probably have to be obtained through the gacha system. You will get various currencies that will enable you to pull characters and special weapons from special events. The fairness of the gacha system is tolerable, and is far from the worst gacha systems out there. Character pulls have been separated from weapon pulls, so your chances of getting a specific character or a weapon you're after are much higher. Featured weapons are guaranteed after 80 pulls, and after 100 pulls you'll get a special arms offering crate that lets you choose a high tier weapon, further reducing RNG. Also, there's loads of opportunities to get free pulls that will enable you to get good characters and weapons even as a free-to-play player. All in all, it could be worse. Very soon as you start creating gear for your characters, you'll notice that some items can only be crafted if you produce materials with your factory. The factory system in Arknights Enfield is so detailed and extensive that one can't but feel overwhelmed. I've spent hours just going through various factories and production tutorials. For example, you're able to get some flowers from the field and that you can send to your depot. You can then hook up your main factory facility to output those flowers to a shredder component. That will produce bug flower powder. On the other output, you'll put amethyst ore that will be refined into amethyst fiber. You'll send that fiber to a molding unit to produce amethyst bottles. Bottles combined with the buckflower powder in a filling unit will finally produce healing items called buck capsules. You can then use these to heal your team or sell them to increase the region development level so you can produce more complex stuff and have more space for your factory. If the previous 60 seconds of your life and description of this process was boring, and I was describing just one production chain, you can imagine what it's like setting up dozens of these production chains that you can create and automate. Once you dive into this, it can be very satisfactory to set everything up and in the end reap the rewards of your labor. Unfortunately, getting there is a long process of learning various interconnections between a multitude of components and getting raw materials. You'll be setting up mining nodes and getting power to those and then expanding power capacity for your factories. It's all very cumbersome and time consuming. In the end, I have the feeling that this super detailed and engrossing industrialization system will be the biggest problem for Enfield. I can imagine a great number of players will just be put off by the complexity of it all. How many people have dreams of being the meticulous organizers and process managers? Enfield sometimes feels like it's been built for people with severe OCD and bureaucratic tendencies. Another big drawback that I keep seeing in this genre is the sheer number of new terms and names that are thrown at you. PAC, AIC, regional stock build, basic HH permit, protocol capacity. What is the deal with these games? Why do they have to have dozens of currencies? Why do we have to learn so many new terms? Why can't the main factory be just that instead of automated industry complex or AIC? I've spent more time browsing the database trying to remember what each building does than creating things. Overcomplication is the number one problem of Enfield. All of the games in the Gacha RPG genre since the success of Genshin Impact have followed exactly the same formula. A beautiful open world with loads of things to discover, loot and fun puzzles to solve, with anime-style cutscenes galore that usually have a mediocre story or storytelling mechanics. They are a joy to play for casual players and provide deeper mechanics for those that want to dive in deep and become the best in the game. But you can't just be a clone of Genshin Impact anymore. You must set yourself apart somehow. Enfield heavily invested in the industrialization aspect of the game. You'll be able to create production chains on a scale never before seen in an RPG game and more resembling Factorio type of games than anything else. The amount of time for planning, grinding, and setting up the industrialization will take up half of your game time. I'm certain that this is very interesting to a certain number of gamers out there. However, do most players of these games really yearn for a smell of industrial grease while they order around building industrial complexes like Henry Ford or Elon Musk or Jack Ma? Would they rather enjoy a semi-fantasy story set in a beautiful nature, helping them escape their urban and industrialization-filled lives? We'll see once the game reaches a wider audience. Personally, I found myself engrossed in getting the right production lines, but at the same time it became a big chore I was not looking forward to after a while. This will not be the case for everyone though, and I can see people being really obsessed with these systems. In the meantime, if you enjoy gacha games, and the idea of building industrial complexes does not repel you, you should give Arknights Enfield a chance. There's a lot to do and see in the game, and if you plan correctly and spend enough time grinding, you'll be able to get all that you can out of it without spending a dime, which is all one can really ask of a gacha game. Since I got a hold of the review copy just a couple of days ago, I wasn't able to fully experience the game and go through the whole leveling process and experience the whole story, so I'm reluctant to give it a definitive score. All in all, if you're a gacha player, I would give Arknights Enfield a chance and see if the new mechanics that they present are something that appeal to you, and then you'll fully commit to the game if you're having fun. It would be a shame not to check this game out, and for everyone else, I hope this review helped you decide whether to try the game out or not. And if you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and this is the Noob signing out.